Our talk title this morning is The Right Way. And so let's talk about what that means a little bit before we jump in here. We're going to be looking at some road signs, and road signs can be quite comical, or they can be very helpful. And the same thing is true for us. So there was a meme on Facebook a while back, and it had a four-way crossing. Did any of you see that? Maybe not. Well, it had a four-way crossing, and then it had arrows for, it was a picture, it had arrows for which way each of the cars were turning. And I figured out what I believed was the truth, and you know these things never give you an answer in the end. So, what? Which one goes first, and what they were supposed to do, who was supposed to allow who to go where when. Yes, thank you for that. And so I figured out mine according to what I know about law, and then I just scrolled through the many, many different answers people had. And some of you right now are probably thinking, lady, you have too much time on your hand if you are just scrolling through people's posts for things that people you don't even know. Why do you care? And some of you that aren't thinking that are thinking, oh my gosh, I do that same thing. So two different ideas. Is one better than another? Not necessarily. We each get to choose how we use our time, right? Thank you. I'll get all my parts together here shortly. Thank you. So what we know about signs is that when they're road signs, we want to follow them. What we know about signs in the world is that some of them come to us. Now you may call them by different names other than signs. You may call it by your friend or a book you read or someone you greatly respect that has shared some idea with you, and you saw it as a sign for yourself to take action in the world. So when we look at the right way, we're talking about the signs of spirit. We're talking about how spirit reveals to us, and spirit can only reveal to us in the way that spirit reveals through us. So these ideas, some of which are spiritual revelations and true corresponding ideas to the things that happen in our life, we see all around us in the world. And some of them that speak to us we take on, and some of them we discard, and some of them we go right by and don't even notice that they were even there, even present. And maybe someone else points them out to us because it caught their attention. So street signs can have a lot of truth, and signs in general can have a lot of truth to them, and they can also have a bit of humor. And the humor comes in how we respond to them and how they reveal through us.
We were driving down the road the other day, and we came up to an intersection on the highway, and there are signs all over the place that said wrong way, do not enter. And I said to Deborah, well, look at all the signs. Obviously people are going that way and they're not supposed to. And I said, wouldn't that be a good talk sometime about how we always see all these signs? Do you ever notice you always see all these signs about telling us where not to go? Or tell us when we're going the wrong direction, but how often do you ever see a sign on the highway that says, you're going the right direction, you're fine. You don't very often get those kind of messages to us. We get a lot of messages about going the wrong way, though.
And we're going to talk about some of those. But what we did was go through, and we noticed as we were choosing road signs, we noticed I would see a sign and I would say, oh, and I'd say what I thought, and David would say what he thought. And then the next one we'd come up that we both liked, and he'd say what he thought, and I'd say what I thought. And didn't take very long before we realized that we didn't even see the signs the same way. Perspectives for what we think when we see something, when we read something, when we take something in, whether it's reading or pictures or words people say the way they mean to them as opposed to the way they mean for us. So we're going to put the sign up and then let you read it for yourself before we read it and talk about it. I dimmed just a little bit. I think that should be okay, shouldn't it? Okay, so that you can maybe see better. Ever seen that one? The wrong way.
We've seen it in lots of different colors and lots of different places. And quite often I didn't really think about going that direction in the first place. But I can imagine myself driving along kind of mindlessly, not paying attention, and then seeing that sign and going, oops, how'd I get here?
Yeah, and have you ever gone the wrong way?
And is that a metaphor for life?
When you've been making a decision in life, have you ever felt like you went the wrong way, but you figured it out pretty quickly, turned it around and went a different way? And I wanted to also relate this one to you, to something else. We were on I-95 yesterday, traveling south from Jacksonville, and there was a rest area, and on the other side of the rest area, there were like 10 signs coming.
50.
Well, I know, but that was after. 10 signs coming out of the rest area that said no parking, and they were all bam, 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 right in a row. And I wish I'd looked, but I don't even think you could have fit between them. They were so close together. And you went a little ways further, and there were another maybe 50, maybe 20 or 30, but there were lots of no parking signs. And it really makes you wonder, how often is there a sign in front of us that we keep bumping into over and over and over as we're making decisions in our life or as we're just experiencing daily life? We just keep on going the wrong way because it's the way we've always gone. It's the path that we are familiar with and comfortable with. So that's the way we take, even though life keeps showing up telling us that it's the wrong way.
I don't think I've ever seen that sign, have you? Only you know the right way. You need to follow your inner guide, your intuition, the voice of wisdom within you to determine what is your right way to go. And is there only one right way to go? Deepak Chopra says to make the right choices in life, you have to get in touch with your soul. To do this, you need to experience solitude, which most people are afraid of. In the silence, you hear the truth and know the solutions. You go within to find out what is your right direction to go. There are all kinds of possibilities, and all those possibilities will have different consequences, but there are lots of right ways to go.
Yes, and we pretty much see that one the same way. I kind of see it as quite often in life you're standing at a crossroad where there are several options that you can take. And my rule of thumb is if it does no harm to myself or to anyone else, then either of those choices is okay. And so which one do you want to take? Which one will make you feel happiest? How do you make your decisions in life? Do you stop and consider what the results of each of the ways will be? Because I see it as wrong, right, and then this huge gray area where there are more than two ways, more than two right ways. And so that's kind of an interesting one, to know that we can slow down.
Living in a life of realm of infinite possibilities, we have all kinds of choices to make. We don't always think that there's only one way that is the right way. There could be many, many ways.
And
Infinite number of ways.
And they may seem like opposite directions, but where do they have you arriving?
We've seen that a lot, haven't we? At the intersection. Which is the right way, which is the wrong one, at the crossroads of making a decision. And you know that one way could lead to doom. One, depending which way you go, is going to end up with a different way, different outcome. In the Upanishads of the Hindu tradition, they say, he who knows the joy of Brahman, which words cannot express and mind cannot reach, is free from fear. He is not distressed by the thought, why did I not do what is right? And why did I do what is wrong? He who knows the joy of Brahman knows both good and evil, transcends both. It's the idea of don't be right or wrong, just be. Live in the now.
Yes, and in our teaching, very often those opposites, like right or wrong, are we call judgments. And yet, I see this one a little bit differently in this way, in that there are moments in life, I know in my life, where I've stood there and looked at the choices. I know one's wrong, and yet I chose it anyway. And hopefully I'm not alone with that, but then on the other hand, hopefully I am alone with that.
That sounds like the moments when the devil and the angel are sitting on your shoulder.
Yes, so the question when we know that we make wrong choices would become, why? What about me needs to reveal a healing so that when I get to this point where I'm seeing this is the right way to go, this is the wrong way to go, I go the right way and I don't decide to take the wrong way. Oops. Oh, it did change.
Well, we all know this one, my way or the highway, right? My way or the highway. My way or the wrong way, obviously. But is my way really the highway, the right way, the holy way? Okay, I know for me it is, always is. And I'm judgmental of other people who don't choose that same way because I know that obviously it's not right, it's not the highway. But is it really the right way? Maybe it is for me, but it doesn't mean it is for you. It doesn't mean it is for anybody else.
Yes, I like that one. And I love how you claimed my way. Yeah. My dad used to say, it's my way or the highway, honey. And he truly meant it. He believed that his way was the only way. In this teaching, we recognize that huge gray area. We recognize that there are unlimited possibilities. So when we get to making a decision, I know one of the hardest decisions I made in my life, prior to making it, I just brainstormed every possible outcome. And when I shared that with a close friend, she was like, "You would never do that." And I said, I didn't say I would do it. I said, it's a possibility. And you know, those possibilities open us up to new and greater ideas to help us go the right way. For my way that's the right way. How about this one? Do you ever hear that? Those loving friends that say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Yes? And we have to be strong enough in our own self, confident enough in our own self, to not turn back. Once we've prayed, once we've been in the silence, and we have decided what is the right way for us, we have to be brave enough to continue on that path and to follow it. And that can be challenging, especially when our loved ones around us are saying, oh, I just don't think you should do that. I don't think you should go there. I don't think you should say that to them. I don't think you should take that job. What if you fail at this? You've got to be strong.
You know, sometimes it's a blessing to have people tell us their opinion or their ideas of where we should go and what we should do. And it's also quite obvious there are plenty of people who are happy to tell us where to go. Maybe not be so much appreciated. Dr. Tom Johnson says, one soul in action is a majority. One consciousness and expression is a master over the world in which he lives. This means we do not have to depend upon others for the gift of our good. We need only depend upon our own creative choices and trust in the law of mind to do its precise work. We trust ourselves to do what is right and to know where to go.
How about this?
We have no one to blame but ourselves if we feel like we're going up the down staircase. And if life is unreasonably challenging, maybe we need to start going with the flow. Or maybe we need to stop pushing against the flow and realizing that obviously there's something that we are fighting against and we don't need to really be fighting against.
And then that makes you think, that is the right way for salmon, isn't it? It's the right way for salmon to go. against the stream. Well, if you don't know, that's a salmon go upstream. And so they fight the current. But that is the right way for them. So sometimes when we're experiencing a struggle in something that we're doing or overcoming or changing about ourselves, we may have to be a salmon for a little bit, and it might be the right way. But when we're experiencing a lot of difficulty, a lot of challenge, we have to decide for ourselves if it's really serving us or if it's not. Do I need out? Do I need a change? What do I need? What do I want? So that I can have a smooth, peaceful life.
There's a saying in hiking that he who has the bigger load has the right of way. And I think it's important to pick our battles wisely and not try to push things out of our way rather than just walking around them. I think quite often we create battles where we don't need to create battles. And sometimes when the forces seem too big to deal with, we just need to walk around them rather than trying to just fight them.
Yes, and I agree. And so I invite you to think for just a moment, are there any forklifts in your life right now? Are there any ideas, any people, any situations that might be a danger because they take you out of your peaceful state of life? And if so, what are the possibilities for you to arrive on the right way for you? Can you see that whole thing? Not a through street. Evacuation route. Huh.
It's important to know we're always at choice. Sometimes it appears that we have absolutely no choice in the situation. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? You have to remember, our truth is that we are always, always at choice. Once again, we can walk around and find another path. But we don't have to be stuck in our boots not knowing where to go. There's always another possibility.
Yes, and for me, this one speaks to the idea of sometimes in my decision making, I feel like I'm in a state of confusion. And confusion is never a good place to be. Agreed? Agreed? Confusion is never a place we want to be. So what do we do with that? Go into prayer, meditation, quiet, and let go of the situation until we can feel peaceful and not have the confusion and the conflict of two ideas within our own brain or mindset.
I did find something else about that sign after I looked at it. After I was putting it up on the PowerPoint, I realized there's another little sign there too. And it says, no, it's on the other side, no wind passing. I thought that was kind of funny, no wind passing. And I thought, sometimes we're in a tough situation where we don't feel like there's anywhere we can go. We need to look at the humorous side of the situation. And that sometimes will be able to lead us out of the situation more easily.
And I hadn't seen that, so thank you for that. But the first thing that came to my mind, and I invite you to think about what comes to your mind, whether it's something that one of us said or something for yourself, because this idea is all about opening up. What came to my mind, no wind passing in the confusion, was your breath gets shorter. We don't breathe as well when we're in that state of confusion or negativity. And the breath can lead us back to that place of peace where we are able to make clearer, more conscious thoughts. Okay, this one.
Sorry. We'll have a good time.
You may need to read it several times. Do you ever watch a mystery movie and they're giving you clues along the way of what's going to happen, and you get to the end of the movie and you think you've read all the signs, you think you know exactly what's going to happen, and then there's a twist. All the good movies have a twist at the end when you realize you didn't really read the signs correctly along the way. And if you had, you would have known this all along.
Yes, did anyone actually read it correctly the first time? Well, just in case you didn't even get it, because it took me a minute, this says, what I if told you. And when we read it, and I even did this after I knew the joke, we read, what if I told you you read the top line wrong? Did y'all get that? Didn't catch it, huh? What if I told you you read the top line wrong? What? What I if told you. Now, depending on, however, whether you got that or whether you didn't, or whether you now get it now that you've been told,
I still don't get it.
or you still don't get it, that tells you something about you and how you take the right way. I actually read that word, you read. You read. You read the top line, so I had to go back and read this one twice. Because in school I teach that can be both ways, and I read it as read the first time. So it's interesting how we see the same things and see them differently, isn't it? And that has a lot to do with, a lot of times, the right way being loving and kind to others, and acceptance of others and their experiences and what brings them to this point today. Anything more to say about that one or anything? Okay, so what helps us to get here? Prayer, meditation, silence, stillness, and being aware of the thoughts and beliefs that we hold. And all the doables, all the gray area are ways to live the right way. And so it is our hope that we have, in Science of Mind, we have that V going a little bit to the side because it's open at the top. And so it is our hope that something has spawned you on here to be open at the top and to look at what is the right way for you. Are you living it already? And if you are, stay firm. And if there's something that needs a little tweak here or there, especially in the mindset, then tweak away.